Cue Dave and Ryan in 3, 2, 1.
It's Dave and Ryan's movie review.
You are not prepared for what is to come.
Hey, Dave and Ryan, we're in the studio today, and we went and saw Dune 2, and let me tell you what, PG-13, gonna set you back a clip, 2 hours, 46 minutes.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin is in this, Javier Bardem is in this, Christopher Walken is in this, Dave Bautista, Austin Butler. There's so many people in this movie. They just keep kind of shoehorning them in. And it follows the story of Paul Atreides as he has now joined the Fremen, and they are taking on the fight, and they're going to take the fight to the Harkonnen. A lot of, I guess if you've read the books and you know the story, a lot of truth comes out in this movie. Right?
Yeah.
Sort of, I would say, the Empire Strikes Back of the Dune franchise. Just putting that out there. I liked this movie. The scope of it was huge. It was a big movie. Probably, yes, I understand we're 3 months in, but it's probably the best movie I've seen all year. And just a great story. The books themselves stand up, and it's a lot of action. It's one of those movies I don't think it played like 2 hours, 46 minutes.
No, it definitely went by a lot quicker than 2 hours, it felt like.
It really kept you interested through the whole thing. And I noticed that in part of it because you start getting involved in the dialogue and in the story, and you're trying to follow what's happening and those kinds of things. As I said, lots of great action. The end battle scene is probably one of the biggest battle scenes I've ever seen in scope-wise.
It was really good.
They spared no money on the CGI budget for the end battle. But the hang-ups that I had with it, the overall length. And Ryan's going to speak to that when he gets his opportunity to talk about it, because you made a good point, and I want people to know that every now and then you can make a good point. It happens. The length of the movie, and I kept wanting Christopher Walken to become Christopher Walken, and it never happened.
Yeah, he never did it.
It's very difficult to take him seriously in this movie. But anyway, I had to give this one 4 buckets out of 5 for popcorn buckets. I liked it. Good movie, just a little long for me. Ryan?
I gave this movie 2 buckets of popcorn. And before you start throwing daggers at me, hear me out. This movie looked amazing. The cinematography was amazing. The actors they got were amazing. The story was just not there. They did a lot of time skips. And I don't mean like years into the future. I'm talking like a few days. Like it just seems like they left a lot of detail out. And I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, the books are better or anything like that. This just seemed like it was forced. They should have broken this into 2 movies because they covered a lot of things in this movie that honestly deserves more time, but they just didn't do it. Like the princess,
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, you don't really know a lot about her. She's like in a few scenes, and then she's there at the end, and it's just you don't really go into it. The whole the new mother and the baby could have went with a lot more detail about that. The whole thing about him drinking the water, that could have elaborated on that story. It just kind of seemed overlooked, and just time skipping to push the movie forward. So that was my only problem with it. Other than that, it was a good movie, but story wise, 2 popcorns.
I liked how you put it because it didn't have plot holes; it had potholes.
Yes.
And yeah, they could have taken the time, split it into a couple of movies, and smoothed out those potholes and filled some of them in, and filled in the rest of the story. I've never read the books, but I can see where you're coming from with that. So once again, Dune 2, go see this one. Looks really good, is really good. I think you'll enjoy it. A little bit long, and if you've read the books, you might be a little disappointed if you're like Ryan, okay? But that's all we got for you this week. Until then,
go see a movie.